We are recording. Um, Greetings, everybody. This is Mike Hitchcock with Acorn Petroleum. And today we're going to be talking about savings with Cardlock, or how I can control the most expensive part of my business. And what will be basically just a little introduction to myself. I'm Mike Hitchcock. I run the sales department. Been with the company for almost a decade, and have a extensive background in engineering, automotive work, things along that line. If there's and if you guys need to get a hold of me, there's my email address and my phone number as well. What we're going to be talking about today is who is Acorn Petroleum, what are the Acorn solutions, the Acorn coverage, and what does it mean to you, and the next steps after that. We were founded by the Oaks brothers in 1957. They opened the first fully automated car wash west of the Mississippi on Nevada, and they purchased 80 Gulf stations throughout Colorado. Purchased Petromark, Superior, Marlette, Cliff Price, Tallman, and the list goes on and on. There's several that I don't have on this list, but we became the Acorn Petroleum that you know today. We operate 5 bulk plants throughout Colorado, 15 CFN Cardlocks, and there's 60 Coloradans that work for us across the state of Colorado. Again, we're a family-owned company. The family was instrumental in bringing the Olympic Training Center here, and we talked about the car wash. We're a Colorado company committed to cost-effective solutions to businesses nationwide. All our card locks, and we'll talk about those in a few minutes, exclusively use extreme diesel in them. Year-round, we have a wide variety of treatment and things along that line that we add to our card locks to improve performance, etc., for our customers. So what do you worry about? There's multiple card accounts. There's hidden or nuisance fees that a lot of cards bring with them. There's absolutely hardly any useful information that they provide you outside of what you owe them. They don't have any security features. Slippage and shrinkage is a huge problem with those cards, and with those forms or purchase products, and access to sites, as well as what are my employees doing and how much time are they wasting. So the truth of the matter is 69% of all the fleets in America use more than one card for fuel. They're managing multiple fuel source accounts, things along that line. Ran into a fire department here in Colorado that had well over 7 different card accounts, and roughly about 14 fire trucks. So it was kind of an odd, the reconciling the bill every month was a big chore for them. Most card statements give no useful information whatsoever, and most card services charge for any enhanced information that you might want. The fees can include card fees, statement fees. Yes, they charge you to bill you, transaction fees, and annual fees. And we don't charge any of those things. With our mechanism, we don't charge any fees whatsoever. The credit cards lack security features like PIN protection. Most cards that are out there ride on the Visa or MasterCard rails. They have unlimited security risks, and there's an opportunity for shopping sprees that can be scary in many cases. And there's no daily or gallon or time of day limitations on those cards. They can be used 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but you can't limit them in the time that you're working with, or in the times that you work. There's no capacity for restrictions whatsoever. And there's nothing to tell you that there's a problem. Most fleets report 9 to 14% slippage. And that's what we, the fleets that we've talked about, that's where the averages kind of fit in. And at 10% slippage on fuel at the price of $2 a gallon, every gallon costs you 20 cents more when you average it all out. And what is slippage? And the vast majority of it is usually fuel grade. Um, uh, People in pickup trucks think that their pickup truck runs better on premium as opposed to regular unleaded. Well, most gasoline engines are stoichiometric, which means that they adjust to the octane that's in the fuel. After a few miles, the engine knows how the fuel burns, and it makes the adjustments. There's very few engines out there that actually require a premium product. And then there's consumption exceptions where the vehicle's using a lot of fuel, but it's just not driving a lot. And those are issues that we can solve with the card. Fuel is the largest expense in fleet operations, yet it's the least watched. How much time is being wasted trying to manage fuel consumption in a business? Well, if you look at the people in the office trying to manage all the receipts and things along that line, if they spend 4 hours a month on that, and you're paying the staff $30 an hour if it's two people or one person making that kind of money, that fuel based on 1,000 gallons a month is going to cost you 12 cents more a month. If you can get it done in 2 hours and you're paying one person $15 an hour to do it, then it's only going to cost you $3 or 3 cents a month. But that's a real cost, and that has to be accounted for in what you're looking at as to the total cost of managing the program. What about the labor? Your truck pulls into a convenience store, and Mrs. McGillicuddy in her minivan is right in front of you. Uh, Basically, your employee who may be making $15 an hour is waiting 10 minutes while Mrs. McGillicuddy fills up her minivan. If you're lucky, she pays at the pump. If you're unlucky and you have two employees in the truck waiting for her at $15 an hour, that's $30 an hour, and she has to go in and buy, the Twinkies, the soda pops, a cup of coffee, and pay for the fuel transaction, and she's in line for 30 minutes in some cases. That could cost you an extra 60 cents a gallon in the overall cost of the purchase. The opportunity cost. If you make $30 an hour with your vehicle and you waste 10 minutes waiting in line at a gas station convenience store, that's going to cost you another 20 cents per gallon. If you make $60 an hour per truck and you waste those 30 minutes waiting for Mrs. McGillicuddy to do all the things she's doing, that wait could actually cost you an extra $1.20 at the pump for that fuel. So what is the impact of slippage? Like I said, some people experience low slippage, some people experience high slippage. But at $2 a gallon at 5% slippage, every single gallon you buy costs you 10 cents more. If you're paying $2.50 a gallon, every gallon, and you have 15% slippage, every gallon is going to cost you 38 cents more per gallon. Remember these numbers because these are real numbers, and you can't escape the fact that these are real costs that are involved in the operation. So what is the real cost? And we'll get into that in a few minutes, but just remember this exercise that we went through. And according to the FBI, companies experience 14% slippage. Most employees convicted of employee theft have had more than 5 years on the job. That's for the theft-related things, and it's not regarding the fuel grade exceptions, things along that line. But sometimes, in many cases that we've worked with companies, employee theft is a real thing. So what is our solution? It's the card. We use the Secure Alert Fleet card. It's a product that we developed using technology that we were able to garner from various sources. And basically, what it does is it gives you some control. You can control how you buy fuel, where you buy fuel, how accessible fuel is to your employees. All these things can be controlled with the card and with the services that we provide. But basically, you are in control. And you can make all your purchases at Cardlock. There's not as many of those out there, but for many people, they work just fine. We have lots of customers that only use our card locks, and they work just fine for their operations. And the reason they do that is because there's savings involved in that. There's savings in that time that we talked about. Mrs. McGillicuddy and her minivan do not go into our card lock. There's more security. There's absolutely more security at our card lock. There's more productivity because you're in and out of there a lot quicker. And we can control everything at the pump in the card lock. Fuel grade, the amount of gallons that are purchased, how many times you buy a day, all those things can be controlled at the pump. So you don't have to worry about tracking down who bought what or whatever. We have the Fuelman network that is available on our card. We can turn that on, we can turn it off. It's a selective process, and we can do that. And what that does give you is it gives you a lot more fuel options, and you can shop the economy. There's many times when we have stores that are out there that are in selling wars with fuel, and it lowers the overall cost of the fuel, and you can take advantage of that if you're in the network. The problem is you don't have the control, you just get all of the alerts that come along with the card. So after they hang up the pump and they've bought some premium product, well, you'll get an email telling you that, if that's how you set the card up. You'll also, if they've bought more gallons than they normally would, you'll get an alert on that too. So there's things that we can set up. You still get all the alerts, you still get a lot of the security. It's just it becomes after the fact in the network. But it's still a very, very effective tool. A lot of people use the network. They like using the network. It gives their employees a lot more flexibility. So those are things that we can do. So control. You control the fuel type. You control the fuel amounts. You can control what's purchased. You can control even down to the days of the week or the time of day the fuel is dispensed. That's excruciatingly important for operations that never work on Sunday, say. Say you don't have trucks working on Sunday. Well, why would you want to buy fuel on Sunday then? We can make those cards totally unusable on Sunday. That's something to think about. And we can also control where the fuel is dispensed. So if they're in a certain zip code or a certain area and there's a card lock in that area, we can make sure that the card lock is the only place that they can purchase the fuel, saving you money in many, many ways. So basically, you can control the e-receipt options. Do you want receipts? Do you want e-alerts? And you can pick and choose the alert options that you want. That's the other nice thing going back to the e-receipts. You can get an e-receipt every time somebody purchases a tank of fuel. And I've had one of my customers remark that it actually, he found that there was some serious slippage going on around 2 o'clock in the morning when he got an e-receipt in the middle of the night. Those are things that do help you in controlling the purchases that are going on with your fuel. You can also control who purchases the fuel because everybody gets a PIN number. And that's the important thing too, because our reporting gives you a name on the fuel billing as to who made that purchase. And we can turn those PINs off like that. If you have an employee that's been terminated, we can turn off his PIN, making it impossible for him to purchase fuel with any card. Card locks is where we think the savings really are. Most of our card locks have several fuel types. They're always well lit. We have windshield washer and squeegees at all of them. And we have trash cans so they can throw their trash away, and they have access to water. These are the things that you're looking for in many cases for a fuel stop for your employees. The nice thing about Cardlock is the pricing is fairly competitive against a street with retail, especially when we take into consideration the overall costs of actually doing business in a convenience store. And we have prompt pay discounts that can be applied. So remember we talked about the hidden costs, and I told you, remember that exercise that we went through earlier? Let's talk about the reconcile fuel purchases, the actual billing that goes on in the back office. That you're going through the billing, you're checking to make matching up all the receipts and things along that line. Because of the e-receipts, none of the receipts are going to get lost or anything along that line. They'll always be in your inbox, and you don't have to worry about wadded up receipts that have mustard stains on them and things along that line. They're all readily and very easy to read. The loss of labor waiting to fuel, the time waiting for Mrs. McGillicuddy to get out of the way. And I've gone to many convenience stores, and I don't know anybody that pulls up to the store to go and finish the transaction. Everybody just leaves their car right where it's at, in front of the pump, and goes to the best bathroom, goes and buys the ho-hos and the soda, things along that line, the 2 packs of cigarettes, whatever it is that they're going in to purchase. That's costing you 10 cents per gallon. We went through the exercise. That's only 10 minutes of wait time, but that could cost you some money. Opportunity cost. How much money did you not make waiting for that 10 minutes? Well, we're back to 20 cents a gallon there. And then the cost of slippage. If we could eliminate slippage, we can save you 10 cents a gallon. And those are real costs. So all in all, the average customer saves 43 cents per gallon just by using Cardlock. And that's something to really take into consideration and really look at. Then we look at our prompt pay structure. If you buy 500 gallons in a 2-week period, you're going to save a penny a gallon off the price. If you buy over that and up to 1,000 gallons, you're going to save 2 cents a gallon. And it goes on and on, up to 5 cents a gallon for if you buy over 4,000 gallons in a 2-week period. We have a lot of customers that get into that level, and it's amazing who we see that actually gets up into those higher tiers. It is a real savings overall. The secure alert card, when we go out into the network, and when we talk about the network, is the Flying J's, the Pilots, the Sinclairs, the Loves, Western, well, not Western, but the Maverick stores and various stores that are out there that have access, that do accept the card. And it gives you a plethora of places to have an opportunity to fill up, and especially when you're traveling out of the city and you may be unsure of where those card locks are. The network does help, and it gives you access to 50,000 nationwide locations. You get all the control notifications of Cardlock. It's just not a control, it's now a notification. And it tells you when things have gone awry. Gives you some flexibility. Lets you shop the economy. I know we've got a lot of customers that want to go across the street because it saves them 2 cents. Well, that's more power to you, because that 2 cents, on a 25-gallon purchase is going to be 50 cents. So we need to, it's something that you should be able to do. And if you're in the network, you can do those things. There is no discount on the volume, on the network volume. If you do all the purchases that you make in the Cardlock, though, that volume is counted towards your discounts on the network or on our prompt pay discount. But there is no, because we don't get the discount and we can't discount that fuel. We're actually paying what the pump price is. There is no network volume discount. A little bit about where we have locations. All our bulk plants that we have, and we have 5 of them, do have card locks. So we have one in Leadville, one in Canyon, one in Colorado Springs, Pueblo, and down in Trinidad. We have several card locks in Pueblo and several in Colorado Springs as well. So that gives you some opportunities when you do wander away from the spring, the Springs or Pueblo or Trinidad. Gives you some opportunities to buy fuel in those locations. In the state of Colorado, there are 55 statewide card locks, and there are 15 owned by Acorn Petroleum and hundreds of network locations stationed statewide. Colorado Springs fueling stations, we have a location at Saguache and Merino and a location at Hancock, down south more towards the airport. Pueblo, we have a location at 8th and Erie, one at 4th and Elizabeth, one down on Faribault, down south of Pueblo Boulevard, and then we have two card locks out on Industrial Boulevard. So there's some opportunities there in the Pueblo area as well. So how does it work? Well, with every new account that we work with, we set up a fuel purchasing policy that your employees can sign. And this is an agreement between you and your employee. You guys sign, he signs the fuel purchasing policy, understanding that it's his PIN number. He needs to keep that secret and not share it with anybody. And this adds to the accountability. And it gives them an understanding that you're taking this fuel, the whole fuel situation very, very seriously as well. But this is part of our service. It's part of our program here at Acorn. Each vehicle gets its own card. And we found that this is the best way to control the fuel type for each vehicle and the amount of fills that vehicle gets every single day. But it's a way to control the card situation and it stays with the vehicle everywhere it goes. The drivers are assigned a DIN, which is a driver identification number, 5-digit number. We randomize them very, very well. We have a random number generator, or you can pick your own DIN numbers. The drivers can pick their own if they wish. It allows every employee to purchase fuel for any vehicle in the fleet using his number and the vehicle's card. But when the bill comes in, it will show you who purchased that fuel, who filled that vehicle. We also have red dyed, because red dye is available at our card locks. We have red dyed cards that are issued as needed, and it simplifies your tax reporting. And it just makes things a lot easier for your tax reporting, keeps everything separate and distinct, and it makes it a lot easier for you to control where the red dye is going. So operating the card lock, you just put the card in, you enter the pump number, mileage, and the PIN, and you dispense the fuel. It's as simple as that. It doesn't get any easier than that, and the only thing the driver really has to record is what's the mileage on the vehicle, so he can put it into the system, and that adds to a tracking tool for you later on. The benefits are it eliminates employee fraud. It allows for a higher level of control, and it gives you cost containment all the way around. Gives the accountability feature between you and the employees, and there's a complete chain of custody with the PIN number, because if that PIN number is used, he purchased the fuel, or he or she purchased the fuel, and that's something that you can have a conversation with them. And what's in it for the company? Well, you control the fuel point, the cost, fuel cost control. You don't get any unwanted accessory charges. There are no cups of coffee. There are no Twinkies or anything along that line added to the price of the fuel charges, because we can eliminate that entirely. It just removes all those loss opportunities, gives you control of the route, gives you mileage and fuel reporting, and gives you fuel sites designed for large vehicles. Most every card lock out there can take any size vehicle and tractor trailer combinations, things along that line. Billing. We give you statements that make sense. Basically, the statement looks a lot like this, and the individual vehicle charges for that particular billing statement come up and look a lot like this. And you can see where you have the fuel for unit number 75. In this particular case, Phyllis filled it on such and such a date. These are old numbers, but the statement hasn't changed any in all these years. Lynn filled it another time, and Tony filled it twice. And it gives you a noun for the location that they used. And it gives you the mileage at the fill, the odometer reading, and the beginning odometer reading, the mileage, and the cost of the fuel. You can do some calculations here, and we will do, if everybody does their part and fills in all the information at the pump, we can do a recap and give you the total miles driven for that particular period, how many miles per gallon that vehicle was getting, and what the cost per mile was, and the average cost per gallon. And as you can see, back in 2008, when this slide was made up, fuel was $3.59 a gallon. That was a while ago, as everybody can remember. So the billing, we give you detailed billing. We give you mileage, we give you fuel type reporting, date and time reporting, fuel cost per mile calculations, who filled the vehicle, up to date, and it's up to date reporting. One thing that's not listed here, we even give you a noun for where that was filled. The e-reporting at no additional, it comes along with our system. You get the e-receipts, you get e-reporting, which gives you misfills. If somebody puts diesel in a gasoline engine, you're going to know that. If they're out on the network, those things can happen on the network. They can't happen in the Cardlock, but they can happen on the network. And if there is a misfill, you'll get an email to that effect. Excessive fills, so the guy filled 3 or 4 times in a day, you're going to get an email that says that's unusual. And that's an unusual fill. If it was if you said we only fill between the hours of 6 in the morning to 6 at night, and you get one at 7 o'clock, that's going to be an unusual fill. You'll get an email to that effect. Each time and day, number of fills. All this stuff is at absolutely no extra charge, including fraud protection now, which has just been added. We give you we give you fraud protection as long as you have set mileage or fuel parameters on your account, so that there is no, how do I put it? If you have as long as you put limitations in your account on how much fuel you buy in a day per vehicle, you will get at no extra charge fraud protection. So if somebody does manage to crack the card, there's absolutely no charge to you. So what do we do next? What's our next step that we have to do? Well, we do a fuel requirement or a complete fleet requirement inventory. We find out what your vehicles are, what do they need, how many vehicles you have, what types of vehicles you have, and what types of fuel they take, and what's your average driving per day. How much fuel do you use in a day? Fuel and lube history, we will look at those situations. Credit card application, we'll have to get an application on file to open up the account and get everything going. We will work with you to establish a fuel purchasing policy. We have a template that we can provide to you at no charge so that you can work with your employees to put together a fuel purchasing policy. After everything is created and the cards are made, we come in and do a driver training program. We come in and work, like we call it a donut delivery. So we come in and do a donuts on delivery. We bring donuts, we talk to the drivers, tell them how to use the Cardlock, tell them where everything is at, tell them what information they're going to need to carry to the pump with them so that they can put in all the information appropriately. And then we take all the old cards, get those out of circulation and put the new cards into circulation and start the program. And we do a full driver integration. We do periodic reevaluations. We do come back to you after a couple months, weeks in some cases, to see how things are going, if we have to make any adjustments, any changes to the account. And in a nutshell, that's how we can help you save money using Cardlock. Are there any questions? Okay, I guess not. I must have did a good job. But if you do have any questions and you have anything that you'd like to inquire about or find out about, don't hesitate to ask. This is my email address. This is my phone number. We also have people. You have account managers that work with you, solution specialists that work your account. They're available to help you out at any time. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We're here to help. And if there's anything we can do going forward, please let me know. Thank you.